Hey friends, you're watching Brainstorm Acres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
We live on a 43-acre homestead that we've built ourselves here in northern Arizona. The sole part of the homestead that we haven't built really completely ourselves is this structure right here. When we got here, it was a
shell of its former self.
It was a half-finished, maybe,
Yeah.
garage, and we had to rebuild a lot of it, but we did that, and we're now in the process of redistributing the stuff that's in the studio, because that's where Irene's studio is, and part of that is installing a new drill press.
Right.
So we've just been going through all the documents to make sure we understand what's supposed to happen. This product came from China.
Of course.
The real thing is that it's going to come in slightly different forms than what it says in the instructions, and that's the case here.
Right.
So there's a lot going through, making sure we had all the different pieces in the right place.
Right, so Henry bolted down the base the other day. So step 2 is getting this beast in place.
This column's going to hold the table and the drill head and everything else.
Right.
And you may recall that I couldn't find the bolts. Well, Irene found them stuck behind some other things. And I'll see if this actually fits.
It looks like it will. The things are not lined up completely, but it should if we actually line it up. If you can't get them in, let me know. We had to convince Rufus not to help too, which makes it less happy. He's laying there by the door saying, "Mommy yelled at me."
One of the problem with these pieces of cast iron from China is that sometimes the tapped holes aren't tapped completely. So there's burrs and such inside the threads, and that makes it difficult to thread something in. And I'm always a little leery about forcing a screw.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to break anything. Because most of the stuff's not what I would call repairable. I mean, it is repairable if you wanted to work on it forever, but the whole point was to buy something that we could assemble with relative ease once we decipher the instructions, because the instructions are never what actually comes. This thing, for instance, was not supposed to have this other arm on it and everything else when we got it. It was supposed to be in more pieces, which is fine. I don't mind it being put together. My guess is that they discovered that having people put this arm on was counterproductive in terms of returns.
I'm going to get the last machine screw in the base, please.
Okay. Yeah, I've been looking forward to having a slightly more functional drill press for a while. I have a tiny one that I bought. It's a very inexpensive one from China, and it actually has served me well for a couple of years.
All right, this is tight enough for right now. I'm going to tighten these machine screws up and the bolts a little bit more when it warms up later this afternoon, because things will start expanding a little bit.
Okay.
All right, the next step is we're supposed to put the crank handle on here.
Well, you're supposed to, yeah. It says put the clamp on first, which is actually that, I think. Remember, this isn't the way it was supposed to come.
And the question is, which one is the...
Which is which? I don't know. And the reason it has a fold-down handle is so it doesn't stick out. You don't want to have it to be in the way. There we go. And there's the crank.
The nice thing about many of the Harbor Freight kits, because this is really just a kit, is that you're not supposed to be falling asleep.
Sorry. I'm not falling asleep, I'm just yawning. Our air quality this morning is totally abysmal. It wasn't as bad when I went. I didn't smell smoke or anything. I didn't notice any fog, but the air currents must have changed direction. We have a big, like thousands of acres, controlled burn east of us, and we must have gotten some reverse flow on the winds, because, ugh, it's really bad out there now. It's brown. It smells like you're sitting around a campfire, except that the entire world is brown. I hate it when it does that. And hopefully it really is truly a controlled burn. I remember listening to a cocky young firefighter in Williams one time when I was there picking up soda at the Circle K. And he was like, yeah, don't worry, ladies, it's all under control. And I thought, I turned to the older woman at the countertop and I'm like, he's new, can you tell? Because it doesn't take much when you have a big fire. Even if you think it is under control, all it takes is a sudden change in wind direction or something like a small dust devil or tornado to really make a heck of a mess. And all of a sudden you've got embers all over the place and it's no longer in control. So we always hope that they truly are in control and that they don't have too many of the cocky young men working on their fire line. Because Henry used to fight fires as a young man and he knows better. You are never cocky when it comes to a fire.
You know, fires can be highly unpredictable. No matter how much you think you know what they're going to do, you can never be positive.
Well, part of the problem is you can hit a new area that has totally different cover. So maybe the grass burns quickly, but it doesn't burn super hot and it burns fast. Then all of a sudden you hit a section that's got sage. That burns way hotter because it has a lot of oils in it. And the same thing with manzanita. That's what killed the firefighters. Gosh, it's been a while now. How many years ago? 10 years ago?
A while.
A while. 15 years ago? I don't know.
Not more than 10, I don't think.
But it killed 19 firefighters. You know, they got caught when the wind changed direction and the manzanita literally it explodes when it gets fire on it.
Well, those pieces are on. What's
Okay.
the next step that we had according to our instructions?
According to our instructions, ooh.
I don't want to put the table on until we have the head on.
No, because that'll just be in the way. And the table drops into that hole there. That's not a big deal. Let's see. Verify that the column collar is square to the column tube and that the set screw is secure but not over tightened. The column collar should be positioned so that the rack will slide freely in the collar when the table is rotated around the column tube.
Well, the collar is square and we can swivel around just fine. This is the collar that was being talked about. The set screw is already tight, and we can swing the table arm around, which is great.
Rufus is inspecting the work area. It's very important. Okay, move your patootie. Come on, you have a bed. Go to it.
Okay.
It's like, oh, I don't get
That's
no
done.
respect. Let's see. Loosen the table clamp and insert the table. I don't want to do that until the head's on. That stuff is easy to put on later. So, avoid injuries. The next step involves lifting the head assembly onto the column tube. The head assembly weighs about 55 pounds. Have someone help you lift this assembly into place. We already checked to make sure we could pick it up earlier.
Well, oh, thank you, Rufus. So when we started this process, I had another plan to lift the head up on top of this the column here, but we tried lifting it this morning, and the two of us can lift it up.
Yeah.
Now the question is, can we get it up high enough to
that's the
actually
only
get
thing.
on top of the column?
What it says is, using two people, lift the head assembly up and onto the column tube B14. It should slide down on the column tube as far as it will go.
Yeah,
That's one of those, yes, I'll bet it will slide down as far as it can go. Oh my goodness. Align so that it faces straight forward in line with the base. And then you start putting in set screws and stuff like that. Okay.
All right. Let's see if we can lift.
If I can press. You got it on cock. There we go. There we go.
Well, that's as far as it'll go.
Yep. Just like it said it would. Now, there's got to be something inside that stops it.
There's a set screw.
Okay.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Let's see if it's in line with the base.
Yeah, it looks like it to me, but you'd have to
Okay.
have some other big thing in order to know that for sure.
I could just drop a plumb bob off the
Yep.
arbor.
They're making it sound like the motor pulley and stuff are not installed, but it might or might not be because we didn't actually look at it.
They're installed.
I think they're already installed.
Everything's installed.
Okay. Might want to check it though. Because just because they put it in place doesn't mean it's properly installed.
If you grab one of the handles from over there,
Which kind?
there's only one kind of handle there.
No, there's two
Nope.
kinds of handles.
The big
That
kind.
The big kind. The big kind. That's a technical term.
They're the same.
They are the same. Okay.
They are the pieces that allow you to move the chuck and arbor up and down.
I just realized what this is. It's a light.
She just discovered there's a light to go with this drill press.
I'd forgotten that. Well, I didn't actually. I wasn't actually there when you bought it. We had just talked about it. You showed me a picture.
Well, I drove down to Prescott to pick this up right before I went on a big adventure. My
Right.
big adventure was a process of dealing with a bunch of issues with infections of my knee. So it's nice to not have that going on anymore. And
Cool. Looks like an incandescent bulb. Is it possible it's an incandescent bulb? Yeah, it is. Oh my goodness. Seriously. Okay.
get a better bulb than that. I just need to see what the base is. I'm sure it's a 110.
Hopefully. I mean, it's just one of those. There's times we've got light bulbs that go in some lights, hanging lights that we have in the kitchen over the counter there. Just absolutely adore the lights. And it was what was available when we were building, and we really like them. But we've been trying to go more energy efficient and switch everything from the original incandescents to, then we used what were the other fluorescents that we used?
Compact fluorescence.
Yeah, the compact fluorescents. Well, because they were more efficient, but then the LEDs are even better in terms of energy efficiency and light quality too. Some of the compact fluorescents had kind of strange light profiles.
Well, you might have noticed something hanging from the ceiling. Some years ago, I did a little bit of a show about how we wired Irene's studio. There's a whole series of cables that hang down from the ceiling. They attach to an outlet in the ceiling that has a twist lock so that this doesn't come down. But then it has a regular plug on the other end.
This collection of plugs up here actually includes 2 plugs and then the fancy drop-down plug. That's probably the light. It is.
Yay,
Yeah,
a light.
that's right. I have one clamped onto the wall over there so that I can see my other drill press.
Well, it's only taken about 8 months to get this installed.
Yeah, I've been tripping over it for 8 months, mind you.
And
because
both of us have been tripping
well,
over
he doesn't
it.
work down here very often. But yes, he would trip over it when he did come down. Yeah, because there was no place to put the box, and we had it laid out in the middle of the floor. So yeah, we did our share. Rufus learned he could run over the top of it. It wasn't a problem, which was good, because he was afraid of it at first.
So I spent the first 4.5 months after buying this drill press dealing with my knee infections. And then we had an event, and then another event, and then another event, and now we finally got to get this installed. I have one more thing to do. I'm going to clean up this arbor a little bit before I put the drill truck on. What you looking at?
Oh, I was just debating the fact that it might be better actually to use the regular plug instead of the drop plug. We're definitely going to have to roll this up because that's not safe.
We'll be able to make a decision, but
Yeah, we'll do something.
we have a lot of different pieces of equipment over here, and the nice thing about this cable right here is that it can go to any piece of equipment that Irene needs to hook up.
Right.
So what's left now is I'll do a little degreasing of some of these surfaces because it's cast iron. It was shipped with
Glue.
the equivalent of cosmoline. For
Yeah.
those of you who are a little younger, cosmoline was a really, really goopy, nasty
I love the smell of cosmoline. I really do.
preservative to keep things from rusting.
Because it means I've gotten some new tools, even if they did come from China or India or someplace like that.
So I have a chuck to put on and some cleanup to do, and just going to be ready for Irene to start doing work as necessary. As
And we
will
have
I.
we bought the right vise to go on here, so that we have good mobility.
We have cross slide vise to go in here as well, and you know, I'll do a show about how this gets used. Hopefully later this week. So you know what? Say thank you, Irene.
Thank you for helping me finally get this silly thing together. This is not a one-person job. I mean, I could have done everything to this point if I needed to. But when it got to this point, it would have been a challenge because it's only 55 pounds, which is not that bad, but you are putting it up high enough that it's a little dangerous.
It is awkward. So,
yeah.
well, anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because
There's lots going on. As soon as we get done here, I'm going to go back to hammering over there. I have an order.
she's making more metal things.
Yeah, my goal is to have it done this afternoon so I can actually mail it, or have you mail it while I do something else. The kitchen floor needs to be mopped.
We'll catch you on the next. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to brainstorm.
We are.
Say bye, Rufus.
He says he's sleeping now. He's sleeping on the cardboard that we had this sitting on when it was on the cement floor because we didn't want to scratch it up.
So more stuff goes out.
Yeah. He's ignoring us. He's like, you yelled at me, man.